When employers are doing an LMIA application, they are encouraged to include some of the following activities in demonstrating that they've tried to reach out to Canadians. For example, increasing wage offers, employee referral incentive programs, offer part-time or flexible hours as a position, offer health insurance and other benefits, financial support, and so forth. So there is a list that you can look at on the CIC website in regards to how you can encourage Canadian citizens and permanent residents to also apply for this position. So when you post a position, you want to include some of these incentives in your posting. Now, some clients of mine come to me and say the language restriction, specifically if it's a profession that requires other language abilities besides English or French. This is totally acceptable so long as you can demonstrate that that particular language is mandatory for the position. However, if it's just the language you're putting in there because you're trying to encourage that applicant to stand out, that's no longer obviously acceptable. So English or French is required, but other languages you cannot include unless you can demonstrate as the employer that that particular language is mandatory for that position. Perhaps you have a clientele in that particular language that needs assistance and so forth, and therefore you have to make it mandatory. In regards to wages, as mentioned, the position needs to be posted at the bare minimum as per the prevailing wage. If you want to increase that wage, the chances of approval do become higher. The LMIA really focuses on wage, so you want to make sure that at the bare minimum you're offering the position to the temporary foreign worker, or when you do the advertisements, as per the prevailing wage. If you want to increase that, the chances of success are obviously much higher than if you just do the bare minimums. As for the recruitment efforts, which this is where it gets interesting, the job posting must be posted on Job Bank Canada. So there's also 2 other postings you should do. It's mandatory. And those could be, they really depend based on the position you're offering, the location it's being offered, the province it's being offered, and so forth. Just keep in mind that the advertisements or the recruitment efforts, they have to reach out to permanent residents and Canadian citizens. So for example, if you're in the industry of retail, for example, then posting it on a newspaper might not be the best way to reach out for that position. So you have to look at your industry and see where Canadians would look for that position. Newspapers, job postings, internet sites, etc. are encouraged. The bare minimum is 3 postings. However, we do encourage you to do as many postings as possible because that strengthens the application. It needs to be accessible to the general public, so posting it on a site that Canadians do not have access to or are not familiar with, that's going to decrease your chances, and the officer may not even accept that as a viable posting. The advertisement must include basic information such as your company name, your business address, the position, the job duties are essential, has to match that particular knock. Obviously the wage, benefit packages if there is anything, the location of work and if they are required to travel, and the skills required for that particular position. So you want to be as clear as possible in those postings. Make sure that if you post it on other resources such as a newspaper or Kijiji or Craigslist, that you have these pertinent information there as well, including the date of the post and when the posting will come down. And the posting has to be up for a minimum of 4 weeks. We encourage you to keep the posting alive throughout the whole process and update the officer with your efforts. I hope that was very useful. If you have any further questions, we're here to help. Thanks so much. Until next time.